Winkler, the umpire, is talking the crews through the start procedure. They get told what's going to happen, and then it happens for real. The flag goes down, and off they squeeze. There's a little aligner in that tent there that's making sure the boats are perfectly aligned on the start. Obviously adjust for the different boat lengths. Race in the Thames Challenge Cup, Leander Club on the left-hand side of the screen, the Berkshire Station versus De Hoop of the Netherlands on Buckinghamshire.
De Hoop went a bit off station there, I think, a bit close to the buoy line, and now steering back in. That will have cost them just a little bit, but it didn't look like a bad start.
Yeah, this can happen in these sweep boats. You've got different pressure on different sides of the boat. If you have someone very strong, either in the bow or the two-seat, it can squeeze the boat around. You have to learn to work together and move off. And I think Leander almost capitalised on that strong start by both crews. Leander have had a hard fight battle to get into this race. They beat Avon, who are actually up there as one of the favourites to get into the finals, and beating that crew that come all the way from New Zealand must give the crew confidence. But De Hoop are no strangers to this event.
Yeah, there can be some advantage to having a tough race coming in. It kind of gets you used to it, gets it out the system, but on the other hand, it does put it into the legs.
Tight through the first marker. The crew's powering off the end of the island there. They've done their first 30, 40 strokes, and it looks neck and neck. At this point, their coxswains are just telling them to stick to their race plan. Nothing changes. They know what they're doing, don't they, Stan, before they even get on that start line?
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, you're obviously, it's nice to have the cox calls there through the first 500 or so, but you absolutely know you could do it all without a single call and know exactly what's going on. It's at this point, incidentally, it starts to go a little bit quieter, and suddenly you can really dial into your cox's voice to the opposition cox's voice. It can be quite disorientating, suddenly really having such a window into what your opposition are doing, although I suppose in this instance there might be, at least for the Brits, a little bit of a language barrier as to what's going on in the De Hoop crew.
Absolutely, not many Brits speak Dutch, so they are maybe able to keep those secrets in their crew, but De Hoop look like they've had a very strong start. Leander are not going away.
No, it looks, I mean, it's hard to tell from here, but it looks pretty tight right now.
And we expect that. This is the penultimate day of racing. Tomorrow's the finals. If you're going to get in that final, if you're going to win, you've got to beat everyone. As we see De Hoop of the Netherlands on the left-hand side of your screen there, with the red stripe vertically running down their lycras.
Yeah, De Hoop do look to have established a decent advantage there now.
About 3/4 of a length. That's not a comfortable position to be in. We keep saying that. These crews, you want to break away. You want to really start laying those seeds of doubt in that crew behind you.
It's interesting, Hermione Hill has her Leander crew well off the booms, which we've seen most crews actually follow the booms on the Berkshire Station.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a warning here from this Leander crew as Sarah Winkler gets her flag out, tells them to move back across. To respond to the umpire here. The umpire, Sarah, who's in the bows of that boat you see following behind, she is the referee, as you were, of the race. She makes sure it's a fair and equal race for all competitors. And right now, she's saying, Leander, you're a little bit close to De Hoop.
As the crew that's down, you don't really want to be rowing in the wash or the wake of the crew that's ahead. So it's probably for the best that they get a little bit back onto their station.
And one thing these crews can do, another warning there, you can look at the race times from the day before, and off that form book, De Hoop was slightly quicker yesterday to those markers, the barrier to the Forley, than Leander. So it's going to the form.
You're right, Jess. As an athlete, it's very, very tempting to do that, and you will do it. But on the other hand, on this course, where the timing isn't always pinpoint perfect and the conditions is a huge part of it, it can be misleading as well.
You can't help but be tempted to have a little look, and it's great and gives you energy if you are faster. It can be a blow if you're slower. And right now, De Hoop might have looked at their times knowing they were the fastest crew. They're passing through the remnant clubs. We're coming through the middle third of this race, and they're staring down to the enclosures, all the way down to us in our little box. As we see them, they're coming into sight for us. Great shot there to Hoop.
If Leander are going to pull back onto Hoop, they need to do something very, very soon, because that's too much to pull back in the enclosures.
But Leander are moving. I think they just made a change there. We can tell by they look like they've just taken the rate of striking, how many strokes per minute they're taking.
Although it's not, I mean, we did see them steering there. There's some quite aggressive steering that is going to take a little bit of speed off the boat. But yeah, you're right, Jess. They do look to have pulled some back.
I think they've brought themselves right back into this race, Stan. De Hoop got an answer for it, because right now the momentum is with Leander on that Berkshire station. They're moving.
You're right, it's maybe a third of a length to De Hoop now, so Leander are moving quicker, moving back onto Hoop. They look to have started responding early enough to give themselves a shot at this win.
And that's what you want to do as a crew in front of you. You want to break them, as what I was saying before. You want them to think they can't come back, but they've kept that belief, the little bit of belief in their crew, and they're moving on to Hoop.
Yeah, it does look here like Leander might really be pushing for the lead.
And De Hoop they've been looking calm, they look relaxed through the middle of this race, and they're going to have to move now, otherwise this Leander crew from Henley are going to start moving on them. They're looking a little bit more ragged now in their blade work, De Hoop, as Leander are coming careering down through the enclosures.
You're right, you're right. I mean, both crews looking a little bit ragged at this point, but fair play to them, because they will be knackered at this point, holding on.
A little look across there in the coxswain seat, Hermione Hill. She's telling her boys, you can do this. Can they do it?
De Hoop, for my money, have responded. They've responded. Yeah, De Hoop have maybe a quarter, a third of a length.
And look at that, De Hoop have kept their heads up. Their strokeman looks like he's absolutely spent. Peter Ticken, can you hold on for these dying stages of the race? Or can Leander sprint? It looks like babble to babble as we come to the finish line.
Oh, I think De Hoop got there in the end, didn't they? But Leander really, really pushed them there. I did not think it was going to be that close from 500 out.
Oh my goodness. A little heart in the bowman there. And that was as tight as it gets as a win for De Hoop of the Netherlands in the Thames Challenge Cup over Leander Club.